closer than you think. You got to turn to somebody, look a little church, and tell them you're closer than you think. You're much closer than you think. You need to see that. You need to see that. You just look over at somebody else who looks a little quiet. Tell them, neighbor, you're a lot closer than you think. Apostle, one thing that I've noticed in this 18 to 19 months now that we have been in this lockdown is that the enemy is playing with the believer's faith because of timing and proximity. He's playing with timing and proximity because he understands that isolation is the breeding ground for insanity. And so if I am isolated, then I'm going to be locked away into myself, and then my thoughts become my guard. And when my thoughts become my guard, I no longer listen to what God says. I listen to the voices in me, because most of us try to create the world around us based on how wonderful we can make everything feel. And so when we lean to our own understanding, normally in leaning to your own understanding, what you do is you'll find a way to make it comfortable for you, even if it makes you at odds with God. And the devil is playing the game right now with a whole lot of us, that he wants us to be comfortable, even if it's going to cause chaos between me and God. And the reason he's doing it is because he knows that this is the season. If I can't get you to do anything else, I can get you to do it right now, because everybody is church hopping online. Nobody talking to me yet. If you have not noticed, there is a buffet of ministry online right now, where everybody who has something to say is saying something, but everybody who's saying something has not been sent. So in understanding that everybody has not been sent, let me start this out like this. Whoever your pastor is, that's the voice that you need to be listening to right now. So you don't like talking like that because you want to have a free Christian society where you can listen to everybody. But my mother, when we used to visit people's houses, used to tell us we're going to visit but don't eat nothing. I need to find somebody in here. You don't go to everybody's house and eat something, because number one, the kitchen ain't clean, the cook got to be dirty. I got to when you find out that the problem in the church ain't really the people, it's the person cooking the meal, then you already got a whole problem in and of itself. But just because they got lights and smokes and mirror and a lot of people doesn't mean that they got a lot of God. I got to talk to you here, because I have found out that a large crowd does not mean that there's a large anointing. Y'all are still quiet with me. I have found out that ants travel in packs. I found out that flies travel in packs. But those that are flying high, normally, eagle, talk to me, are by yourself. And you have learned that I don't need the crowd in order to be popular. I don't even have to be liked by you in order to be popular. But the real deal is, I don't care how many likes you have, how many followers you have online, how many demons can you cast down? Let's talk there. How many people have you seen delivered? Let's talk there. How many people have you seen come back to life? Let's talk there. See, I'm looking for people that have real, legitimate signs and wonders, not individuals who can do a lot of talking but ain't got no real power. Your followers don't scare me. Your faith will, though. I need to know that you got faith in God, and it's more than something that points to you, because my deal is I need somebody that's going to make me look back to him. I don't care about the popularity contest. I don't care if you don't want me to come to your meeting, if you don't invite me. As long as I'm on God's program, I could care less. As long as his hand is on my life, I could care less if you like me or not. Do me a favor, lay hands on yourself and just shout, I'm anointed for real.
I'm anointed for this.
I'm anointed. I'm anointed. You gotta take them and say, I'm anointed. I'm anointed. And that's what irritates a lot of people. That's why they're trying to find something out negative about you. That's why they're trying to see what they can do to pick your church apart. It's because you're anointed and they don't understand it. You're anointed and they don't like it. But if God be for you, he is more than the world against you. Tell somebody, I got help. It just don't look like it yet. Text in Matthew, amen, when we fall into into the book of Matthew. Matthew is probably is one of the cooler of the Gospels. If you would look at it, you will notice that all of them are written to different individuals. So when you walk into the book of Mark, Mark is written unto the servants because he uses words like immediately, forthwith, and anon, and suddenly. Those are the words that he uses because he wants you to understand that if you are a servant, your expeditious response from God is a little bit different. If you have a need and you're working for him, he'll come through for you quicker than he will for somebody else. I need to find everybody who's in servanthood in the church right now. Everybody who's serving, if you're serving as an adjutant, if you're serving as an administrator, if you're serving as an usher, if you're serving as a deacon, I need to tell you the next level of miracle ain't coming to the pulpit, it's coming to you. Because those of y'all who have held the glory up, he said, tell them I'm getting ready to bless them beyond their wildest imagination. I got to find somebody that don't mind having a little church with me tonight. So Mark's gospel is written unto the servant too. Look down that row and tell somebody, I'm glad I served even when they tried to sabotage. I'm glad I served, even when they called me a flunky, even when they said if I was you, I wouldn't do it. You got a life. Yeah, but my life is in Christ, hidden in God. You got to know. So I got a life, but I couldn't have the life unless I found him. I got to find me a church here. Then you go over to the book of John. John's a little more different. John is extraordinarily Christocentric. When you deal with John, you will notice with him that John says he's going to put a preamble on what Moses said, because Moses said in the beginning was the earth, and God created the heavens and the earth without form of water, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. But Moses didn't catch it all, because Moses would make you think that God didn't exist until he created, right? Watch this. But then John said, I got something better for you. Watch this. He said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and there was not anything made unless it was made by him. Skip down to verse number 14. Then he says something else that blows my mind. And the Word became flesh, and it dwelt among us. In other words, he says, everything that you're reading can stand up. I don't think nobody caught that in here tonight. He says everything that you're reading will stand up. You just got to give it an opportunity. There'll be a moment when it's spoken, but after it's spoken, it'll come walking. I need to talk. Tell somebody, I'll never be broke another day in my life. Now you heard it. So in a little while, expect it to come walking into your Luke is different. Luke is different. I really like Luke. And the reason I like Luke is because Luke is written to Theophilus. Theophilus is a ruler of that day, and so it's written unto him. And while it's written to him, you will notice that he writes down, he said, dear Theophilus, let me begin to tell you about these things that Jesus did. He starts talking about him. He says, I need to introduce somebody to you because you could not get in the group unless you came on a reference. Okay, I need to tell like 5 of y'all this. Your next door is coming on a reference. Somebody, you didn't hear what I said. Somebody is about to refer you to the next level of grace. Watch this, and you need to hear me, and it's coming with no strings attached. I got to turn and say, yeah, this one's coming with no strings attached. You don't owe them a favor. You don't owe them nothing. He gonna do it because he just brought your name up. Do me a favor, tell somebody he about to bring your name up now. Watch. Luke is a little different. Luke is different. So when Luke is writing to Theophilus, everybody who Luke is writing about, or who's written about, or has opened the door for, he, man of God, you'll notice that he starts telling him about his mom and his dad, because he said, look, I don't want to mislead you. I want to tell you about him from his infancy, but what I need to tell you is that everybody here has the perfect life. They got the husband, the wife, the babies, and they got the dog. Everybody got the perfect life. They got the American dream. They got all that going on. He said, but this guy is a little bit different. I'm going to see if they find me now. This one's a little different. What's different about him is that his mama and his daddy wasn't married when he was born. All right, hold on. He says his mom and daddy wasn't married when he was born. So wait a minute. I don't know if we can let him in. He said, well, if I tell you how he got here, maybe you'll let him in. How did he get here? He said, well, let me tell you something. This is probably the first time in history something like this has ever happened. What has happened? His mama got pregnant standing up. I need to talk to you here. I don't have nobody to help me preach here. I'm about to preach about 2 minutes. His mama got pregnant standing up. What you mean his mama got pregnant standing up? His mama was standing up, and an angel came and told her that day. He said, listen, that what's on you is from God, it ain't from this world. In other words, his mama heard something. This is the first woman that got pregnant by hearing. I need to find 5 folk here tonight who knows that if I hear the right thing tonight, then I'm going to get pregnant while I'm in church. If I hear the right sound tonight, I'll get pregnant. I can't find nobody that want to have it. Tell somebody, if I hear the right thing here tonight, I'll get pregnant right while I'm in church. As a matter of fact, I need to get pregnant in the business area. I need to get pregnant in the home ownership area. I need to get pregnant in the ministry area. Lord, say something so I can get pregnant. Matthew wouldn't like that. Matthew doesn't like that. Matthew does something that I find peculiar, because I'm standing tonight in the pulpit with a woman who is an apostle, and a bona fide apostle at that. Watch this. What makes the book of Matthew so unique is that the first time in the Bible you find women mentioned in the genealogy is in the genealogy of Jesus. You got to find this. There are only 5 women that are mentioned in the genealogy, and the 5 of them are mentioned in the book of Matthew. Is the first time you ever find this happening. So we got a whole problem now, because what God is getting ready to do is he's getting ready to flip the script. What was a man's world, a woman's about to have an entrance. I got to find 5 of y'all that'll talk to me here. He says, I'm getting ready to let women in, and I need to tell y'all right now that in actuality, if you still fussing and fighting in 2021 about should a woman be a pastor and should a woman be a preacher, you need to retire. If you still are struggling with that, then you got a whole problem, because if you were to read the Bible, it wasn't the men that preached the gospel first, it was the women. How dare you say it? I got you. Because if you would check, the men were wondering who was going to be next. And while the women were at the tomb all ready to get the body together, because they believed what was heard, the men were just walking with what he said. I got to find you. And you got to learn right here now that if you are still in competition with what God called, then you obviously are not called. Because there's no way you can be a called man and fight against a called woman. Text the book of Matthew. You walk out of chapter number 1, and then you walk into chapter number 5, and you walk into chapter number 5. Matthew's about kingdom. So when you start walking into Matthew 5, and he starts talking about kingdom, he tells you that there's certain kingdom dynamics that you got to have if you're going to be a kingdom citizen. So everybody screams that they're in the kingdom, but they don't have a kingdom character. Okay. So then, if I got a kingdom character, then what is it? It says these words, because I'm trying to figure out if 5 of y'all gonna help me preach tonight. Blessed are the peacemakers. That disqualifies half the church, because most people want to keep up mess and expose everybody for what you know about their wrong, but don't want nobody to tell about what you've done wrong. Let's come on. So I'm trying to figure out, how is it that he's the Holy Ghost, but he got to use you to expose a human? And if you can't help me, why you exposing me? Because anytime I found that God exposes a person, he will expose them to a person that can help them with what he exposed. He never exposes you to sun dry you. He'll expose you because there's somebody that has a gift to put you back together.
Oh, God.
So now, I think I noticed that some of what we call God was personal, and you just didn't like the person, so you had to find out what was wrong with the person. Matthew said, blessed are the peacemakers. He said, blessed are the peacemakers. He moves from there, and then he says something else in Matthew 5:44. Bless them that curse you and those that despitefully use you. Because you know, back in the day, I'm saved, sanctified, that with a mighty burning fire. The Lord working on me in 3 different ways. I'll tell you about it maybe tomorrow night. But he working on me. But let me tell you this, because he said, bless them that curse you. Now, cuss them that curse you. Never mind. He says, bless them. Because I got to tell you, because back in the day, hallelujah, never mind. Back in the day, I would say what I needed to say to you and then feel good about it a few minutes later. But take him and say, he working on me. He working on me. He said, tell him, say, he working on me in that area, but don't push me, because I'm close to the end. Tell somebody, say, don't try me now. I'm saved, but don't try me. I'm like Peter. I got a knife and a Bible. Don't push me tonight, because I'm trying to be saved, but I got a kingdom characteristic in me that helps me to hold my tongue together when I want to snap on a few folk. He said, in 6, he said something. He said, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all his righteousness and all these things will be added unto you. He leaves there, then he goes to Matthew chapter 7. He never says don't judge. He said don't judge unless you want to be judged by the same measurement that you judge other people. So I think that some people who right now think they're under attack, you're not under attack, you're under what's called reap. Okay, because you have judged everybody else, and since you judged everybody else, your deal is what you did to them is not coming back to you. But now you don't like it when it comes back to you. I don't understand people who try to throw sand in the wind. It's going to ultimately come back and hit you in the face. Tell your neighbor, just leave people alone. Let God be God. You don't have to judge the world. Just back out the picture. If they've wronged you, God will handle them. But you can retaliate and mess everything up. Because when you retaliate, if God get them, he got to get you.
Yes, Lord.
Matthew 14. Let me go. Matthew chapter number 14. It starts where I read in verse number 22. It says, and straightway Jesus constrained his disciples to get into the ship. Well, I could easily, Apostle, walk to the end of the text where Peter is walking on the water, and we could have fun. We could shout all night long. But I think we would miss a whole lot if we didn't walk through this whole treasure chest and look at it to see what it is that God is actually saying to us out of the text tonight. Because when we see them get in the boat, that's not the beginning, it's actually the end of something that has happened. Now watch this, and this is how it works. When you walk into the book of Matthew, between the end of 13 and 14, you're going to find that Jesus just learned that his pastor has been beheaded. His pastor has been beheaded. I know I got you quiet, I come get you. His pastor has been beheaded, because what it is you will notice that Jesus didn't start ministry until he submitted unto John.
All right, submit.
And here's a whole message. Since we're at Convocation and everybody's here, let's have a little Sunday school lesson tonight. And if we were to look at it, we would notice one thing, that any ministry that starts without submission is doomed to fail. Here's the deal. Because what we notice in the moment is that while Jesus is the Son of God, even though he has power from out of this world, his power from out of this world doesn't work in this world until he submits to a man who is in the world. You can be anointed at home, but until you submit to somebody in the world, then what you have from out of this world won't work in this world. And your frustration will come because you want us to recognize what we have not received. And I cannot recognize what has not been submitted to God. So now Jesus is now being baptized by his cousin. Okay, he's been baptized by his cousin John. John now indeed baptizes him. And notice when he baptizes him, his endorsement comes from heaven. Immediately the Father speaks, and when the Father speaks, he said, "This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased." Well, what pleased God? Because Jesus had done no miracles. He had not healed anybody. He hadn't touched anybody. He hadn't made any 2 fish, 5 loaves. None of that happened. So what did it do that pleased God? Submission. Because whenever you can submit, you're giving somebody the authority to handle your life and to shape you into something that you have never been. Submission is not a bad word. It's a positive word for those that really serve God. And watch this, for the record, let me tell 3 of y'all this: you're not really submitted until you have a choice. Where you at? Yeah, you ain't submitted until you got an option, until they got a game and the pastor said, "We got church tonight and this is what we get ready to do." We get ready to find out if you really submitted, because submission gives you an option, but you gonna choose the one that's gonna help you to live. I gotta talk again. I'm trying to find out, because there's a lot of people. I'm with you, pastor. I got your back. I'm for you. I'm 100% for you. And the moment somebody back their eyes at them or wink a little bit, they ain't coming to church. They late now. They can't be there because we was getting to know each other, and then he gone in a month, and you need me to get you to know God again. And I'm trying to figure out where your loyalty really is. Do me a favor and ask your neighbor, are you loyal to whoever leading you? Are you loyal to whoever it is that God has assigned to your he submitted to John. He submitted to John. He finds out in chapter number 14 that his pastor has been beheaded. Can you imagine? And I don't even want to. Can you imagine that your pastor is no longer with you? Can you imagine the person who's preaching to you is no longer with you? I don't want to feel it. I don't want to know it. I don't even want to experience that. Can you imagine for just a moment that they can't pray another prayer, they can't preach another sermon, they can't lay hands on you and your babies, they can't give you no more wisdom, they can't give you a spontaneous prophetic word, they can't come out of a joke prophesy and go back to joking. I don't know how in the world they do it. If you got one like that, you got a good one, baby. Watch now, because all of a sudden the Bible says these words, that he finds out that John has been beheaded, and what he's going to do is he get ready to go into the wilderness. He wants to get away from everybody, to seclude himself. He wants to hide from everybody because of what he's going through. The Bible then tells us, ladies and gentlemen, that when he goes into the wilderness, the 12 are right behind him. They decide, we're going to go with him. We don't really know what to say, but we're going to comfort Pastor. We're going to comfort Jesus. Since John is gone, we got to be there. We got to support him. See, I want to talk to people tonight who are willing to follow your leader in the wilderness, even if you don't know where they're going. Because some people ain't willing to go with you across the street. But if you got some folk that a little bit on the ride or die side that don't care, Pastor, they coming for you, but they better stay back. Now I'm willing to leave it alone, but you don't let them come here. They can say what they want online, but don't come here. Because if you come here, then things change a little bit, and we gonna lay hands suddenly on some man.
All right.
Don't come here. Watch text. The text says this, and Jesus is going into the wilderness. He's going to hide. Okay? He's going to the wilderness. He's going to hide. He don't want nobody with him. He's going to hide. As the disciples are with him. Watch what happens, please. The text then says these words. And the multitude follows him into the wilderness. Okay, if he's hiding, the disciples knew not to tell nobody. Then who told the people where Jesus was going into the wilderness to hide? Because he was taking a pause from ministry to get himself together. Okay. There's only one other person who knew where he was going, and that had to be God. Because he wasn't offering you no break just because you had personal pain. Okay, y'all didn't say nothing to me. Let me come back. Because all of a sudden now, the new cliche is everybody got to take a break because you got personal pain. But in the moment that Jesus had personal pain, God sent the multitude. So maybe sometimes it takes the pain to crack the oil. Come here now. Maybe it takes the pain to get the oil out of you that we couldn't get when you were being wonderful. But now that you're broken a little bit, I see another oil in you. I preached my best messages when I was broken. I preached my best. I saw clearer prophetically when things were coming after me. I could do stuff that I couldn't do when I was okay. But when God allows a moment to come,
talk to me, Jesus. Hallelujah.
He allows the multitude to follow him into the wilderness. He's in the wilderness. The text says he's in the wilderness now. He ain't got time to weep because he's working miracles now. Laying hands on the sick, talking about it. And then watch what he does. Apostle, I'm almost done. Watch what he does. Watch what he does. The text says that Jesus is in the wilderness, and he turns around because now he was grieving, but now he's got compassion on the people. He said, they didn't follow me in the wilderness, and we've given them everything except for something to eat. He said, he turned to the boys. He said, what do you have to eat? Because the disciples told him, said, Jesus has been long. Send these people away. They don't need to be with us. Send them out of here. I'm sick of them following you around. We trying to have quiet time with just us and you, and here these people come, you working miracles, and we ain't got nothing. He said, he turned to them. Jesus said, what do you have to give them since you want to tell me to send them away? What you have? They start looking and patting their pocket. I don't have nothing on me. I ain't got nothing on me. He said, you just told me to send the people away. You obviously got some money to send them away with, because you doing all that talking, but you ain't got no power. So he's patting the pocket. And he said, we ain't got nothing. We ain't got nothing. You've been getting every convocation. You done been to every live. You done been to every pastor's conference they got in the world. And you telling me to send the people away? It's a bad day when the adjutant thinks the people come to see them and not see the pastor. It's a bad day. It's because watch what he said now. They said, Lord, they crying after us. I did not see one place in the text where the people were asking to see the disciples. They asked to see Jesus. But the problem is when you hit a psycho syndrome and you start thinking that it's about you and it's not about the person that you're serving. You can come back here now. How in the world is it that you done got it so arrogantly twisted that you think the people want to see you? You more concerned with what you look like than what your leader look like. You more concerned that y'all not going to talk to me, but I'm going to preach back to you. You more concerned with your hair being done. Don't even care if the pastor clothes wrinkle. Don't care if they look anything. How are you supposed to serve? And you more concerned about your identity than the identity of the person who you're with. Because watch this, everything that's on them gonna roll to you anyway if you learn to stay in your lane. Jesus says these words. Jesus says these words. He immediately says to him, he said, what do you have? They said, we ain't got nothing. So he said, I'll tell you what, look through the crowd and tell me what you can find. Please note that the women and the men sat in separate sections. The children sat on the outskirts. Watch this. He tells them, he said, go through the crowd and tell me what you can find. They go through the crowd. The text said there's 5,000 men. And so men, women, and children. Watch this. He goes through the crowd. No food amongst the men. Go through the crowd. No food where the women are. Go further in the crowd. The only person that's got food is a little boy. And he got a snack pack. He don't have no real food. He got something to hold him over. He got 2 fish, 5 loaves. 2 fish, 5 loaves. You with me here? They tell him, they say, hey, Jesus, there's a boy in the back that has the food. He said, bring the boy here. Don't touch the food. Bring him to me. I need to show you what's getting ready to happen in the church. Bring the boy that's in the back with little experience but has substance to come here. Because you got a title and no substance. I don't have nobody to talk to. He said the only one that got the substance is in the back. And I need to tell some of y'all that the church get ready to flip, but not the way you think. What's about to happen is all the newbies that just joined got the substance that the old ones wouldn't study for, that the old ones wouldn't pray for. There's another group that's about to rise up, and all they got is enough for themselves. But what they have, he can use it. He said, bring the little boy here. He brings him to the front. He said, give it to me. He takes the 2 fish, 5 loaves. When he takes it, the text says he blesses it, breaks it, tells the disciples to tell the people to sit down in groups of 50 in the green grass. This is thick. I got to preach through it though. He said, tell the people to sit down in the green grass in groups of 50. All right. Blesses it, breaks it, pass it out. You don't hear nothing else from the little boy. Watch this. I got a couple questions, then I promise I'm moving, and we're gonna walk on water. Number one, Apostle. When I started talking, I told you they were in the wilderness. Where did the green grass come from? And grass doesn't grow in the desert. I don't have nobody right in here to talk to me. I don't have nobody right here to talk to me. Because now he's about to feed everybody, but he said, tell them to sit down in groups of 50 in green grass. So we got a whole problem. And in order for you to have green grass, you need about 3 things. You need soil, you need seed, and you need soaking. I don't have nobody on either side to talk to me. In order to have green grass, you need seed, you need soil, and you need soaking. So I understand. I'm looking at it. I ain't the sharpest razor in the box, but I understand a little bit of something. I noticed that we got soil, and there's possibly been a release of a seed, but I'm noticing that all he's doing is working miracles. He never asked for the green grass to grow, so I'm trying to figure out when in the world did it rain. Okay, y'all still ain't here with me. When did it rain enough while he's out there for the grass to begin to grow? And so I'm reading it. And the Lord said, boy, go back and read it slow. That's been my gift. He said, go back and read it slow. I read it again, and I didn't see it. Woman of God, I read it another time, and I still didn't see it. I'm like, God, I don't see it. And I hate to be in the special ed of Christian education, but I don't get this. I don't see how in the world this is going to work. I don't see. He said, read it again. You see that they got soil, right? Yes, I see it. So you do see see now that there could be a seed planted, but the seed planted is still going to need a little bit of water. Yes. And so I'm looking at it and I'm wondering, Apostle, how in the world is this going to work? Because I don't see where it rained. I can find the scriptures about rain, but I don't see that it rains here. But I'm looking and I'm looking, and he said, look at it again. He said, tell me everybody that's at the event. I'm looking, and I told him everybody that's at the event, but I'm trying to do my little study so I can preach tonight. And I'm looking at it. I said, I see everybody that's there. He said, well, you're missing it. I looked again. He said, tell me everybody that's there. I looked again. I said, I see the land, I see the disciples, and I see you. He says, so where's the rain? I'm trying to look at where the water, where's the rain? He said, boy, stop me. Let me help you here tonight. Did not I tell you that I was the water? And if any man drinks of me, he'll never thirst again. He said, you were looking for rain and the water was walking. I can't find nobody here tonight. Tell somebody, don't look for it to fall. It's already there.
Already there.
Watch out. Tell somebody the rain was already there. The rain was
already there.
Watch. He passes it out in groups of 50. The Bible says that they eat until everybody's full. They eat until everybody's full. And while everybody's full, they're looking around at it. And Jesus tells the disciples, now y'all got to go get in the ship. We gotta go somewhere else. You gotta go get in the ship. He sends the crowd away. He says, y'all go get in the ship. We gotta leave. Now watch this. I want to show you something, because I often ask when I'm out preaching, I often ask if I'm preaching from a certain place, who would you want to be in the text? Who would you want to be in the text? Who would you want to be in the text? And people get excited. And I had one lady jump up one time and said, I want to be the little boy. I said, okay. She said, I want to be the little boy in the text because he's the only one that had some food. I said, yes, ma'am. I said, I want to be the little boy. I want to be the little boy because he had substance. That's what you just said. He had substance, and I got substance. I said, yes, ma'am. Then I had another pastor behind me. One time he jumped up and he said, I want to be the disciples. I said, well, why do you want to do that? He said, I want to be the disciples because the disciples, even though they failed, he gave them a second chance. He never gave up on them. I said, I like it. He said, I want to be the disciples because I done messed up and God done gave me a second chance. And I said, well, that's cool. I said, I don't want to be neither one of them. I don't want to be neither one of them. I said, I only want to be the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. Okay, all right, y'all are quiet on this side. Let me talk to y'all. I said, I only want to be the 2 fish and the 5 loaves. He said, why is that? I said, that's the only thing he touched. I got to find me. I still can't see nobody up in here. Yeah, tell somebody he touched me, but he had to break me to pass me out. And I need to talk to folk right here who have been through a breaking to be passed out. You don't understand why he keep breaking you. If he's breaking you, he's making room. You better turn to somebody right and tell him, neighbor, God is making room.
Kill us, Bishop.
He said, I want you to take this group, put them on the ship, and send them away, sending the multitude away. There's a third dimension in this text, and maybe I should leave it with you tonight. That there is a Ephesians 4:11 opening right here in this text. And the reason why I need to leave that with you is because I don't know, somebody just pulled on the spirit. And the reason I need to leave it with you is because what it shows. It shows that he had 2 fish, 5 loaves.